The research station hung silently above Earth, a silver giant floating among the stars. Inside, humans were rare, fragile things to study, and most aliens looked at them with amusement. The protagonist, a young human male named Orin, stepped carefully into the observation hall, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. He was smaller, weaker, and less perfect than the aliens who surrounded him. Yet there was a spark in his eyes they could not understand. The room was filled with women of astonishing grace, flawless skin, and minds sharper than any human could dream. They moved with elegance, their eyes glinting with curiosity and superiority. The alien woman in charge, tall and radiant, looked down at Orin and smiled a little too knowingly. "Choose any human woman you like," she said, her voice smooth, confident, dripping with mockery. Her words echoed in the hall, and the other aliens laughed softly, expecting a foolish or embarrassing choice. Orin's heart beat faster, but his face showed no fear, only quiet determination. He scanned the room carefully, observing each woman as if weighing their worth, though his choice was not obvious to anyone else. The alien woman tilted her head, amused, thinking this human could never understand what they truly valued. Whispers filled the hall as Orin took a step forward, his gaze fixed on her, and not on the others. "Choose carefully," she said, her voice low now, almost a challenge. Orin's lips curved into a small, confident smile, and he replied, "I choose you." A ripple of shock ran through the room, and even the other aliens froze for a moment. Her eyes widened, disbelief flashing across her face, a reaction no one had anticipated. She opened her mouth, searching for words, but none came. The aliens who had been mocking him now looked puzzled, murmuring quietly among themselves. How could a simple human dare to choose the most exalted of their kind? Orin remained calm, steady, unshaken by the attention or the tension. His choice was not out of fear, desire, or flattery, but a quiet understanding of something deeper, something the aliens had never considered. The alien woman's expression shifted from mockery to confusion, and then to curiosity. No human had ever done what he just did, and the room seemed to hold its breath. Orin stepped closer, not aggressively, but with quiet confidence, his gaze never leaving hers. The other aliens whispered again, wondering what the outcome would be. "Why me?" she finally asked, her voice barely more than a whisper, but the question carried the weight of her entire species' pride. Orin's eyes held hers, calm and unyielding, and he said simply, "Because you are not like the others. You see things differently, and I see something real in you that others cannot." A silence followed, thick and heavy, as the alien woman processed his words. Her lips parted slightly, not with anger, but with a spark of intrigue she had never felt before. The hall seemed larger now, the laughter fading, replaced by a tense, fragile curiosity. Orin's calm defiance had done something unexpected, something even he could not fully explain. The aliens, expecting humiliation, now faced a mystery, and the first seeds of respect began to form. The scene ended with the alien woman staring at him, unsure whether to be angry, amused, or impressed. And Orin, the human they had mocked, remained steady, the spark of something extraordinary quietly glowing within him. The alien woman blinked, still staring at Orin, her mind racing to understand what had just happened. Her face, usually calm and unreadable, was now a mix of disbelief and curiosity. She had expected him to choose someone flashy, someone extraordinary, someone worthy by their standards. Instead, he had chosen her, the one who had mocked humans with the most confidence. The whispers around the hall grew louder, but Orin did not flinch. He stood steady, calm as if nothing unusual had happened. Other aliens shook their heads in quiet disbelief, some smirking nervously, unsure whether to laugh or frown. "What do you mean by this choice?" she asked, her voice sharper now, trying to hide her surprise. Orin met her gaze, his eyes steady, and said softly, "I see more in you than they do. There is strength here they cannot measure, wisdom they ignore, and a spark they fail to notice." Her mouth opened slightly, and for a moment, she could not speak. She had studied humans for years, yet never had one dared to speak with such honesty. The other aliens leaned closer, eager to hear his answer, expecting foolishness or flattery. But Orin's words were simple, sincere, and quiet, yet they carried a weight that stunned everyone. Slowly, her expression shifted, the mockery fading, replaced by an emotion she had never recognized before. A small flicker of intrigue, a hint of admiration, and something like respect began to form. "Why me, of all of them?" she whispered again, softer this time, almost to herself. "Because you see the world as it is, not as others tell you to see it," Orin replied. "The others are focused on perfection, strength, beauty, but you carry something real, something human, yet something that even you may not fully understand." She looked down for a moment, thinking, her pride battling with a strange new curiosity. The hall had gone quiet now, every alien present watching silently, sensing the shift. Orin's calm, steady presence was unsettling, but in a way that drew attention rather than fear. The alien woman took a step back, collecting herself, her mind still racing. She had not expected a human to challenge her, not with words, not with confidence. "Do you think you are worthy?" she asked finally, her voice now tinged with challenge. Orin's smile was faint but steady. "I do not claim to be perfect. But I trust that my choice is true, and that is all that matters." A ripple of murmurs passed through the observers, some impressed, some skeptical. The alien woman's heart beat faster, though she could not admit why. No human had ever made her feel this way, to question her own certainty, to see through her arrogance. The tension in the room grew thick, charged with curiosity, disbelief, and an unspoken question. Could this human actually change something about her, about them, about the way humans were seen? Her eyes searched his, looking for weakness, but found none, only quiet determination and honesty. For the first time, she realized that maybe humans were not as fragile or foolish as she had been taught. The other aliens began to watch with new interest, whispering among themselves. What was happening here? How could one human hold the attention of the most respected among them? Orin's calm defiance had done more than shock her, it had begun to shift her perception. And slowly, ever so slowly, the alien woman's arrogance began to crack, just enough for curiosity to enter. She stepped closer, her voice quieter, less mocking. "We shall see if your choice is wise, human." Orin nodded, steady and unafraid. "We shall," he said. And the hall, once filled with mockery, now buzzed with a fragile tension. A tension that promised the story had only just begun. The alien woman watched Orin closely, her eyes sharp, analyzing every movement. She had never seen a human act with such calm confidence, and it unsettled her. A voice echoed through the hall, announcing the beginning of the trials. "These tests will decide if this human is worthy of his choice," it said. Orin took a deep breath, standing tall, though the others whispered and doubted him. The first test was strength, a series of challenges designed to push him to his limits. Aliens lifted massive weights effortlessly, their bodies perfect, their motions smooth and precise. Orin struggled, his arms shaking as he lifted, but he did not give up. He focused on balance, timing, and persistence, using methods they did not expect. The alien woman's eyes narrowed, watching his unusual approach with growing intrigue. Though he was slower, he completed the task in his own way, earning a surprised murmur from the crowd. The second test was intelligence, a puzzle that required quick calculation and logic. Aliens solved it in seconds, their minds like lightning. Orin paused, observing carefully, thinking differently, seeing patterns they overlooked. With patience and insight, he solved it in a way they had not anticipated. Gasps filled the hall, the alien woman stepping back slightly, amazed. The third challenge was creativity, an abstract task meant to test imagination. Aliens created perfect forms, flawless ideas, but rigid, predictable, and cold. Orin drew on empathy, understanding, and human experience, creating something original. It was simple, yet beautiful, something the aliens did not anticipate or understand fully. The observers whispered, their mockery fading into curiosity. The alien woman's expression softened, admiration creeping in, though she would not admit it. Each test became harder, more complex, designed to break even the strongest. Orin stumbled, failed at moments, but he adapted, learned, and tried again. His persistence, intuition, and empathy were qualities the aliens could not measure. The crowd leaned forward, tension thick, unsure how this human could survive. The alien woman's mind raced, questioning her pride and her assumptions about humans. He was not perfect, not flawless, but he was clever, patient, and resilient. With each trial, the gap between mockery and respect narrowed. Orin's calm presence, his quiet confidence, began to shift the mood in the hall. The aliens whispered nervously, some beginning to respect what they did not understand. The final test approached, the most difficult of all, combining strength, intelligence, and creativity. Orin faced it with steady determination, his focus unbroken by the doubt around him. The alien woman watched, her pulse quickening, emotions tangled between surprise and admiration. He applied everything he had learned, every human quality, every instinct, every careful thought. Slowly, he succeeded, not perfectly, but in a way that mattered, a way that no alien could have predicted. A silence followed, thick and heavy, the observers stunned by what they had seen. The alien woman's eyes held his, her shock replaced by deep, quiet respect. No human had ever accomplished what he just had, and she realized the truth of something they had all ignored. Humans were fragile, yes, but unpredictable, adaptable, and capable of brilliance in ways the aliens could not replicate. Orin had proven his worth, not by being stronger, faster, or smarter, but by being human, and that fact changed everything in the hall. The alien woman stepped closer, her gaze softened, curiosity and admiration clear. For the first time, she saw him not as a subject to mock, but as a force, a spark of something extraordinary. And the other aliens, though still hesitant, began to murmur with new respect. The trials had ended, but the story, the challenge between them, had only just begun. The alien woman stood silently, her eyes following Orin as he moved through the hall. She had watched him face impossible trials and succeed in ways she could not predict. A strange feeling stirred inside her, one she had never experienced before. Curiosity mixed with admiration, and a flicker of respect began to grow. Orin noticed her gaze, but he did not gloat, he only smiled faintly, calm and steady. The other aliens whispered among themselves, unsure how to respond to this unexpected bond. Orin approached her, speaking softly. "You did not expect me to succeed. But you are stronger than you know, and I see it." The alien woman's eyes widened, caught off guard by his words. No human had ever spoken to her with such honesty and understanding. She wanted to deny the feeling, to return to her usual pride. But something in Orin's calm confidence made it impossible. They began spending more time together, walking through the observation hall. Orin asking questions about her world, her rules, her people. She answered reluctantly at first, but slowly, curiosity replaced skepticism. He listened carefully, genuinely interested in her thoughts and feelings. The alien woman realized she was sharing more than she had with anyone else. His presence was different, quiet yet powerful, challenging her assumptions without force. She laughed at small jokes he made, something rare for her. And she began to notice details she had ignored in herself, in humans, in the world. Orin's words were simple, but they touched something deep within her. The bond between them grew, silent yet strong, like a fragile thread being woven carefully. The other aliens watched with mixed feelings, some impressed, others uneasy. They had never seen a human affect one of their kind in this way. The alien woman began questioning her own arrogance, wondering if she had judged humans too harshly. She found herself seeking his opinion, valuing his insight, and listening when she would usually dismiss. Orin noticed the subtle changes, but he did not push, he let the bond grow naturally. One quiet moment, she asked, "Why do you trust me so easily, human?" Orin smiled. "Because I see you as more than your strength or beauty. I see the choices you make, and I respect them." Her chest tightened, unsure if she wanted to admit how deeply his words affected her. A warning came from the station's observation deck, unseen by them. Someone had noticed the bond forming and considered it dangerous. The alien woman felt a flicker of fear, not for herself, but for what this connection could mean. She glanced at Orin, who was calm as ever, unaware of the hidden tension. Together, they walked through the hall, the bond between them growing. Her curiosity, admiration, and respect for him deepened with each passing moment. The whispers of the other aliens faded as the focus shifted entirely to them. She realized that humans were not as weak or ordinary as she had believed. Orin's presence, his choices, his quiet bravery had shown her a side of humanity she had never imagined. And though she would not admit it openly, she began to rely on him, to trust him, and to feel something unfamiliar, connection. The moment ended with her looking at him in silence, a mixture of shock, respect, and intrigue. And Orin, calm and steady as ever, knew the next steps would test more than just skill, they would test hearts. The final test had passed, yet the air in the hall was thick with anticipation. The alien woman watched Orin carefully, her heart beating faster than she had ever felt. He had proven himself in ways she could not ignore, not with strength, nor with speed, nor with intellect alone. It was something deeper, something unpredictable, something uniquely human. The whispers of the other aliens faded into silence, all eyes on the two of them. "You have done more than survive," the alien woman said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "You have shown qualities even we cannot replicate." Orin nodded calmly, his gaze unwavering. "I did what any human would do. I adapted, I observed, and I trusted what I knew to be right." Her expression softened, admiration clear now, though she struggled with the pride she had always carried. For the first time, she realized that humans were not weak, not foolish, and not inferior. They were unpredictable, creative, resilient, and capable of more than anyone had believed. The other aliens began murmuring, some in disbelief, some in awe. They saw the truth now, the spark in humanity that even advanced technology could not imitate. The alien woman stepped closer to Orin, her eyes searching his. "I did not expect this," she admitted softly, almost to herself. "Your choice, it was bold, and it changed everything." Orin smiled faintly. It was not bold, only true. Her chest tightened, a strange feeling she could not name rising inside her. The room seemed to hold its breath as she processed the enormity of what he had done. No human had ever stood before her with such confidence and clarity. And yet, here he was, not demanding respect, but earning it naturally. She reached out, a small gesture of trust, and Orin accepted it calmly. The other aliens stepped back, stunned, unable to fully understand the connection forming before them. It was not strength, beauty, or perfection that had won her respect. It was humanity itself, adaptability, empathy, intuition, and courage. A quiet cheer rose from some observers, the beginning of a shift in how humans were seen. The alien woman finally smiled, genuine and warm, something rare for her kind. "You are unlike any human I have ever met," she said. "And maybe, unlike any being I have ever known." Orin nodded, humble, yet proud. "I am human," he said simply. "And humans have a way of surprising even the most advanced." The hall seemed brighter now, the tension replaced with understanding. The trials had ended, but a new chapter was beginning, one filled with possibility. The alien woman looked at him, her eyes soft, filled with newfound respect and curiosity. She realized that humans could not only survive but could inspire, challenge, and teach. For the first time, she questioned the arrogance of her society, the blind pride of her people. And she wondered what other lessons humanity might bring to the universe. Orin's calm presence and quiet bravery had done more than prove worth. They had changed perceptions, broken assumptions, and opened minds. The room, once filled with mockery, was now filled with awe. And the alien woman, once confident and untouchable, felt something new, humility, wonder, and connection. Orin had not just chosen wisely, he had changed the story of humans in their eyes forever. As he stood beside her, calm and unshaken, the hall seemed to whisper the truth. That humanity, fragile and unpredictable, could triumph in ways no one could foresee. And with that, a new understanding was born, a quiet victory, a spark of hope. The alien woman looked at him, shock replaced by admiration, and something deeper. And Orin, the human they had once mocked, smiled, knowing the journey had only just begun.